from Multan Public School and College, Multan. Here dears, I am Malik Naeem. Today we are going to study the structure of human eye from the front and horizontal view, function of the component parts in making the focused image of the distant and nearer object. We are also going to study the pupil reflex in the bright and dim light. As far as the structure is concerned, the mammalian eyeball is present in a depression in the skull. This is called orbit. The eyeball is attached to the orbit by the 6 rectus muscle, which can also move it within the orbit. The exposed part of the eyeball is covered by the thin, transparent membrane called conjunctiva. This is continuous with the skin of the eyelids. There are 2 eyelids in the human eye. Each eye has 2 eyelids, upper and lower eyelid. These eyelids protect the eyes from intense light. They save the eyeball from dust particles, and they also produce tear that keep the eyeball moist and reduce friction. In emotions, excess tear are produced from the tear gland. Tear gland are present in the outer eyelid, in the outer corner of the upper eyelid. And when they are produced in excess, they are passed into nasolacrimal duct, in which someone experience running nose or even overflow can cause crying. After discussion of the structure of the eye from the front side, we are going to study the horizontal section of human eye. Human eye is made up of 3 layers. The outermost layer is tough, white, fibrous. It is called sclerotic coat. It maintains the shape of eyeball, and on the front side it appears as a white of the eyeball, and it bulges out a little bit. The second layer of the eyeball, which is visible as a black liner in front of you, is called choroid. It contains many blood vessels that provide nourishment to the eyeball. The third layer of this second layer on the front side appear as a ciliary body and the iris. Iris has a small hole in its center called pupil. The color of the iris may be blue to gray in some generations, and in the other people its color is green to brown. Different shades from green to brown. Green, light brown, dark brown, leading to the dark brown color and the black. The size of the pupil depends upon the light that we will discuss in the next slide. Right now we move to the third layer of the eyeball, known as retina. The light yellow in color in front of you. Retina contain many photoreceptor cells that are associated with the nerves, optic nerves, and the nerve cells that, after discussion of the structure of the eye from the front side, we are going to study the horizontal section of human eye. Human eye is made up of three layers. Dear students, now we are going to study the reflex in bright and dim light, how the eye behave. In iris, which is the extension of choroid on the front side of the eyeball, and it has small hole called pupil. It is made up of two types of muscle, rather two sets of muscle, the circular muscle and the radial muscle. When the light is intense or bright, the size of the pupil decreases because the circular muscle contract and the radial muscle relax. Contrary to that, in the dim light, the size of the pupil enlarge and the circular muscle relax, whereas the radial muscle contract. When the radial muscle contracts, they pull the muscle toward the outer side and the size of the pupil increase. This is the behavior of the eyeball, especially the iris, in the bright and dim light. Now we are going to study the accommodation in the eyeball. In the end of the lecture, I'm going to discuss accommodation or focusing of the eyeball. Accommodation is the adjustment of the lens so that the clear image of the object at different distances are focused on retina. In focusing process, there are two steps: accommodation to the distant object and accommodation to the nearer object. The parallel rays of the light from the object are focused on the retina by means of a lens. When the eye is looking at the distant object, the circular muscles of the ciliary body relax, suspensory ligaments are pulled tight, and pull the edges of the elastic lens, which become flatter, thinner, and its focal length increase, and a crystal image is made on fovea. And when we see the nearer object, the lens slackens, it becomes thicker, and it becomes more convex. The nearer the object, the circular muscle will contract and thicker the lens will be, and the light rays will be brought to the fovea centralis from that object, making a clear image. If the object is moved still nearer to the eye, the image on the retina will be blurred. Dear students, now I would like to give you some notebook work and the questions. Please draw the section of the eye in your notebook. Number 2, draw the changes in the iris of the eye. Number 3, write the names of different parts of the eye, starting from cornea, iris, pupil, lens, sensory retina, choroid, and sclera, fovea centralis, and the optic nerve. The question that you would have to write: what happens in the radial and circular muscle in the pupil size? Describe or write the changes in the lens in seeing the nearer and distant object. What happens when images are formed on the fovea centralis?